Hello guys, welcome back to Sports Angle. This is Shantanu Vyas and I'm here back again talking about some cricket, and I hope you're enjoying the World Cup 2020, and it's a great phenomenon which is happening. But it's not so very good also because India is not qualified for the semi-finals, and India not qualifying for the semi-finals obviously leaves a huge void in that tournament. And as Indian fans, we're always used to India making it to the semi-finals and playing the big matches, playing those exciting moments. But sadly, it's not going to be there. It's also sad that this is going to be Virat Kohli's last ICC tournament as a T20 captain. And but you know what? I think so far his spell has been good. I would like to make a separate video and give a full justification as to how his journey has been as a captain in the T20 format and how he's evolved and what kind of changes he's brought. But this video is largely going to be about us discussing about the semi-finals which are going to be taking place for the World Cup. Okay, I have to start this video with a sigh obviously, because I would have loved to make a preview on if India would have been in the semi-final of this World Cup, but there are a lot of there are sort of overwhelming moments right now. India's not made it to the semi-final. This is Virat Kohli's last tournament as a ICC T20 captain, so it's going to be slightly bogging down, and I'm going to be slightly down while making this video. I'm not going to be as enthusiastic, so I apologize in advance for that. But again, I always look at it from a positive note that we're going to be seeing four world-class teams who have played some good cricket, who have executed their strategies very, very well, and have remained calm under pressure situations, and they've borne the fruit of it by reaching it in the semi-finals. But that's not what I'm going to be harping about, or that's not I'm going to be throwing light about. I'm going to be seeing as to how they're going to be going head to head, which are England, New Zealand, Pakistan and Australia. Four top class teams are going to be locking horns, and so the first semi-final is going to be between England versus New Zealand on the 10th of November, starting at 7:30 p.m. IST. Do tune in to watch that. And then we have Australia versus Pakistan on the 11th of November, again 7:30 p.m. IST. Now, let's talk about the first semi-final. England versus New Zealand, a replay of the 2019 ICC World Cup for the 50-over format. And wow, it's a good matchup. I'm not gonna deny that. Let's talk about England first. England finished first in their group. Their top scorer is Joss Buttler with around 240 runs, and their top wicket taker is Adil Rashid with 8 wickets. They've been very clinical throughout the tournament. They've been top class. They've finished their matches quite confidently. There is nowhere a place which one has seen or one has observed that hey, England are very uncomfortable. But slightly, only one thing which has to get better is I believe their middle order will need to fire if they have early setbacks in the game, and a lot of wickets need to be taken in the power play by their fast bowlers. Their quickies need to fire up, because a lot of these finals and these semi-finals and these knockout games are in the crux of how early you take wickets of the opposition, because the faster you put the opposition on the back foot, the better it is for you, because mentally you can settle down into the game, you can strategize better, and yes, you can enhance your strategies as and when you go into the game. Improvisation obviously is one of the key elements in a knockout game, and England of late, especially since the time they have won this ICC World Cup, have looked like a side which can improvise very well in tough situations. And now let's talk about their counterparts who they're going to be facing on the 10th of November, which is New Zealand. Now New Zealand captained by Kane Williamson, absolute captain, cool, he thinks on his toes. They finished second in the group, right behind Pakistan with 8 points, and yes, they sealed the deal by beating Afghanistan on Sunday. Their top scorer is Martin Guptill with 176 runs, and their top wicket taker is Trent Bolt with 11 wickets. So these are two top players obviously to watch out for. But I also believe that Kane Williamson is more of a guy who's come with the man. He's kind of a player who steps up when the team needs him the most. And this is really going to be intriguing to see, because New Zealand are not only a side which have had the taste of success with the ICC World Test Championship, they're also a side I think who is really hungry for more. Irrespective of whichever ICC tournament, they're very, very consistent. I don't remember an ICC tournament where they have not made a semi-final, where they have not been probably the toughest team to beat, or probably they've been a litmus test for most teams. So I think England have a really tough chance on their hands. However, I'd like to be a bit bold and make a prediction out here. Will go with England. One is because with the balance they have, and second, their ability to deal with pressure in these kind of situations. So I'm going with England. Do drop in the comments below who you will be going with for this semi-final. Now, most importantly, let's talk about the second semi-final. The second semi-final is between Australia and Pakistan on the 11th of November in Dubai. Now, it's going to be a very good contest, and the reason why I'll tell you is Pakistan has been the best team in this tournament. But when it comes to ICC tournaments and when it comes to the knockout phases, there is no better team than Australia. They have a very good win percentage. Most importantly, psychologically, they're a very difficult team to beat because when they like these kind of situations, they relish these moments. They love to be in these moments. That's why they play very well. So it's going to be a very difficult match. And let's break it down individually. Australia finished second in its group, right behind England. They have their top scorer in David Warner, scoring 187 runs. So that's a top class batsman leading from the front. Now they've solved a very good problem, is wherein they have cracked their they had a spinner dilemma always. Going into big tournaments, especially after Shane Warne retired, they always were finding that number one spinner who they could bank on to get wickets in the middle overs and to break partnerships. And that's what Adam Zampa has emerged out. He's taken 11 wickets. He's been their top wicket taker. He's the second highest wicket taker in the tournament. So which is a huge pat on the back for the Australian bowling coach and the Australian management who have backed Zampa throughout the 4 to 5 years he's had. He's had some bad spells, he's had some good spells, but finally, he's repaying that fate to the management as well as to his captain. Now, what's really important is that Australia has a series of match winners, and they've had instances where they have pulled out matches from absolutely hopeless situations. Like, the instance where Mike Hussey chased down 187 in a semi-final against Pakistan in the ICC World Cup in 2010. Now, I think he scored, around 28 in the last over, and it was terrific to watch. But someone needs that kind of heroic performances. You always see an Australian step up and do those kind of things. That's why I say that they relish under this kind of pressure. Now, the other team which we are talking about also cannot be discounted at all. For me, I would say hands down the best team in the ICC World Cup, because they've won all their matches. They've had terrific players who have emerged in their different situations, such as Babar Azam, Rizwan, Shaheen Afridi, Imad Wasim. A lot of flack was given to this team, back in the 2019 World Cup. A lot of criticism, heavy criticism, both from their fans, from the pundits, everybody. But this team has probably, taken that, criticism to the chin, and, they have structurally revamped themselves. They changed their leadership. You see a fitter and a much more agile squad. And Babar Azam has scored 264 runs. He's not only Pakistan's top scorer, but he is a top scorer in the entire tournament. Haris Rauf has taken 8 wickets, thereby proving to be one of their most bankable bowlers. And it's not only that, I think, the best bowling units are always the ones which hunt in packs, right? So Haris Rauf is from one end, he's tormenting the bowlers, whereas Shaheen Afridi is taking the ball away from the, be it a right-hand batsman or left-hand batsman. Hassan Ali is there in those middle overs, hunting with Imad Wasim to get wickets with his, absolutely obliterating pace. So these kind of things do matter in a World Cup, how you come to the fore, how you play as a unit, how you play as a team, how you execute your plans together, wherein you're doing well with the bat, you're doing well with the ball, you're doing well on the field by stopping runs, and this is what Pakistan has done very well. So this is something definitely, as a fan who would be seeing this, they'd be really happy, because of late Pakistan's ICC World Cup tournaments have not been good. And it's not been good because they are bad or something like that. It's just that they've not turned up. But I'm going to go bold. I feel that Pakistan are going to get the better of Australia. It's because of the home advantage they have in UAE. They've played a lot of matches there. They yet to lose a match there in the past 2-3 years or so. There's a statistic which is making the rounds. But again, let's see what happens. Pressure needs to be dealt with very smartly, and I do believe that there will be an England-Pakistan final. So, semi-finals. An unpopular opinion, I believe they carry a lot of pressure, more than even playing the final, because This is where you're just at 1 inch away from reaching the finals, for which you have probably prepared for so long. This World Cup has happened after 5 years, so people are also like very longing to see some good T20 cricket. The players want to prove themselves. A lot of teams have changed, so obviously the pressure is going to be on these four teams, regardlessly. But let's see what happens. And most importantly, what's going to be the usual cliche is that whichever team handles pressure the best will go ahead. Which is why I singled out Australia and England in terms of when I said that in the previous part of the video, that these are teams to be watched out for, because they deal with pressure really nicely, and they know how to improvise, which is one of the key elements of playing under pressure. So Pakistan, I don't know, will have to work on that element of theirs to improvise or not. And Babar Azam is a young captain, so let's see how he improvises. But I do believe he has the kind of talent and the belief which his team carries, and I think it should take him the distance. So yes, I am predicting an England versus Pakistan final. Let's see. It's going to be very intriguing and very nice to see. Because wow, England versus Pakistan is something you do expect, because England has been probably one of the best white ball cricket teams in the last 4 to 5 years or so. Pakistan has had a very good record in the UAE, barring all formats, and Babar Azam is out and emerging. So let's see what happens with this Pakistan team and with that England team. And I wish all the teams the best, and we hope to see some good cricket. On the contrary, Indian fans, you should smile, because for some time you're not going to be having a stressful time. We can check this out as like some entertainment and just enjoy it. And the India versus New Zealand series will begin on the 17th of November. Looking forward to that. Yes, I am. Rahul Dravid begins his stint as a coach. Really going to be exciting to see what changes he brings about, and I hope we are back to winning ICC tournaments under his stead. And I'm really excited for that particular stint.